Later, Yugi and Yami were sitting in their room talking. Yugi had wanted to know more about the adventures they had had with so many people after the Millennium Puzzle. Yami had gladly told him. He'd also decided to go ahead and tell Yugi about how he had lost Yugi during the whole Orichalis ordeal. He didn't want Yugi to remembering that and causing a great big argument. "You did that for power?" Yugi asked. "Yugi, you have no idea how much I regretted it. It was the worst mistake that I ever made. I knew immediately afterwards that I had made a grave mistake," Yami said. Yugi could easily see that Yami still felt bad about it. "Well, there's nothing to feel bad about. You obviously got me back since I'm here now," Yugi said. Yami smiled. "Yeah, I didn't stop until I managed to get you back," Yami said. "See, you made up for it in the end," Yugi said. "Yeah, I was thrilled when you forgave me because I didn't think that you would," Yami said. "We were always together then?" Yugi asked. "Yes, we knew we had liked each other and were dating," Yami said. He thought a moment before adding, "Dating as much as a person who is alive and a spirit can." Yugi laughed. "Yeah, I guess it was pretty hard," Yugi agreed. "Do you really want me to make this joke again?" "Well, we worked through that. Anyway, losing you like that made me realize that I couldn't live without you. It's what made me realize that I love you," Yami said. "It sounds like we went through just about everything a person can think of," Yugi said. "Yeah, it sounds like we went through everything a Japanese man could think of." "I agree with you on that. We pretty much did," Yami said. He chuckled. "We even went 5,000 years in the past together." Yugi smiled. "Not many couples can say that," Yugi said. "Nope," Yami agreed. The two started laughing. "Well, it's getting late, so we should get to bed," Yami said. "Yeah, you're right," Yugi agreed. He looked at Karibo, who was still on his bed. "Karibo," Yami said. Karibo looked up and over at Yami. "It's time to go back," Yami said. Karibo nodded. Yami then sent Karibo back. "You can summon him again, right?" Yugi asked. "Yes," Yami assured him. He smiled and said, "You actually can too." "I can?" Yugi asked. "Yes, we're both the owners of the Millennium Puzzle. I can teach how, but you need to be careful on what monsters you decide to summon," Yami said. "For example, Sex Toy Monster, you should not summon. I mean, it's just wrong, you know, Yugi. You have a boyfriend now." "Okay, I'd like to learn," Yugi said. "That will be for later, Yugi. You and I really need to get to bed," Yami said. "Wow, direct as ever, Yami." "Yeah, you're right," Yugi agreed. The two climbed into their beds and went to sleep. "So, you finally remember releasing His Royal Highness from the puzzle," Bakura said. Yami glared at him. "Korra, be nice!" Ryu scolded, hitting Bakura lightly on the arm. "Yes, I remember," Yugi said. "So, I guess you know everything then," Joey said. "Yes, I do," Yugi said. He looked over at Seto. "I was surprised to hear that you lived in ancient Egypt too," Yugi said. Seto shrugged. "No big deal," Seto said. "No big deal! You're the reincarnation of an Egyptian prince!" "How is that no big deal? You can summon monsters and summon using magic! How is that not a big deal?" No big deal. You spent nearly the entire time I was sealed in the puzzle denying that magic existed. You kept saying it was some kind of trick and there was no such thing as destiny or fate," Yami said. "Thank you, Yami." "Yeah, you were pretty in denial," Taya said. "What changed his mind?" Yugi asked. "Well, the trip to the past in Yami's memories was the starting point," Taya said. "And when he remembered everything from back then, he didn't have much of a choice," Mokuba added. "That, and you wouldn't stop bugging me about what it was like back then," Seto said. Yugi laughed, as did everyone else. "Well, at least we don't have to keep that a secret anymore," Serenity said. "Yeah, it was getting pretty hard not to be able to talk about it," Tristan added. "Well, he remembers, so we don't have to worry about that now," Atamu said. "So, what are we doing today?" Joey asked. "I'd like to go to the mall," Taya said. "No," Tristan started. "Hey, we played football with you guys yesterday, so you should do what we want today," Serenity said. "You know, she does actually have a point," Yugi said. "But," Bakura started. "No, Korra. Besides, I think that going to the mall is a great idea," Ryu said. With that decided, the group headed to the mall. At the mall, the group broke up like they usually did. "I don't know why we all come here when we always go out separate ways," Yugi said. Yami shrugged. "We come together, we split up and shop where we want. We meet up at the food court, hangs out for a while, and then we go our separate ways. That's the way it's always been," Yami said. "Well, it's not bad, really," Yugi said. The two walked around and went into the different stores that they'd like to walk in. Soon the two went to the food court where they found Atamu and Haber. "Nothing interesting?" Yami asked as he and Yugi sat down. No, not really, Atomo answered. Looks like we're all stuck here for a while, Heiba said. No big deal, really, Yugi said. The four started talking until the elders arrived. You guys never shop much, Ryu said. We look at what we want to look at and then we come here, Yami said. Yeah, we don't walk into every store we see, Heiba added. Well, it's your loss, Taya said. Tristam and Mokuba were loaded down with the things that their girlfriends had bought. Good old-fashioned stereotyping. You can't beat it, can you? The group stayed a while before they all ended up heading their separate ways. As Yami promised, he took Yugi out on a date that night. So, what do you want to do? Yami asked. I don't know. We don't have to eat anything fancy, Yugi said. There's no chance we could afford it even if we split the bill. Burger World good? Yami asked. Sounds good to me, Yugi said. The two went to the Burger World and ordered their food before they went to sit down. Thanks for taking me out, Yami, Yugi said. Any time, Yami said with a smile. He liked being able to go out with Yugi again. The two talked as they ate. Oh, how rude. Keep your mouth closed. At one point, Yami's eyes grew hard. These jokes are just getting too easy. Yami, are you okay? Yugi asked. Tyler's here, Yami growled. Yugi looked and saw that Tyler was, indeed, there. A moment girl, a redhead, came up to him and kissed him. Isn't that Missy Brown? Yugi asked. Well, the female slut of the school is dating the male slut of the school, Yami said. Sounds perfect, Yugi said. Yeah, Yami agreed. Tyler had noticed them and seemed to be ignoring them. Yugi chuckled. I think he's learned his lesson, Yugi said. Well, he was pretty humiliated by the fact that he was taken down by someone who was half his size. He hates the fact that everyone knows you refused him and that you broke his jaw, Yami said. If you broke his jaw, why was he speaking so eagerly in the playground only a couple of days later and then got into a fight? Does he, have Wolverine's healing factor or something? Oh well. Good. I don't want him hanging around me all the time, Yugi said. Me either, Yami agreed. When the two were done eating, they left the restaurant and headed for the park to walk around. I have to admit that I enjoyed coming out, Yami, Yugi said. Yes, you did it over 3 years ago and it must have felt jolly liberating. Yami smiled. It was just a simple date, Yami said. Being able to spend time alone with you is more than that. I think that's what dating is all about, Yugi said. That's pretty much true, Yami agreed. I don't need fancy restaurants or gifts all the time either, Yugi said. I know that from when we started dating, Yami said. He then added, after I had my body. Well, just being with you is all that matters to me, Yugi said. I'm glad. It means the world to me too, Yami said. He leaned down and kissed Yugi. The two stayed in the park for a while longer before they decided to head on home. Wow, we'd gone quite a while without that many spelling mistakes, and then 2 in one sentence. I was spoiled. Author's note. Hope you liked it. I hope Yami's explanation was good enough. I tried to stick with the way it happened in the show, but I haven't seen it in a while, so it might be wrong at spots. I also had to alter it a bit. Next? Not sure yet. Wow, how specific of you. R&R.